Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 142. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm really happy to see you on the channel. As you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and what we can expect most importantly for the upcoming week. This one was actually pretty nice. We had some nice opportunities, but as you can see from the weekly candle right there, we did not have much of a movement. And it was pretty tricky because I was changing my bias on EU every single day, right? And then there had to be a lot of adaptations done and so on and so forth. And there were some trending days that I didn't get an entry, so I failed to adapt. So actually up until Thursday, I did not take any trades, and my first actual trading day was on Friday. On Thursday I had a birthday, so I didn't trade at all, and Monday I didn't trade as well. Tuesday and Wednesday I tried to trade, but I couldn't catch anything. So on Friday I just took one loss and one nice win, which pretty much finishing profitable, but nothing too much, not much of a progress, but that is of course perfectly fine. Really hope you also had an amazing week, and March is coming to an end. We're also having a monthly candle closure as well. April is coming, Q2 is about to open, so hopefully you guys are crushing your goals so far, right? So if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I'm going to start publishing more on stock investing as well, personal finance, and all of this great stuff. I give my best to publish an educational video during the week, and this weekly outlook and setups is released every Saturday. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss the future updates. And before we jump into the video, make sure to check out an amazing broker that is Forex.com. It is great with great spreads, with a lot of instruments to trade, and make sure to pick their eco account. You're going to pay a little bit of commission, but every single lot that you trade will go towards planting 10 trees, which I think it's an amazing initiative. They also track the trees that they have planted, so make sure to check them out. Check all the links down in the description, and if you already did, let's head into the video. Alright, as always, starting with a Dixie, let's see what is happening this week. So pretty much not much of a development. We are still stuck within this little supply right there, wondering what is about to happen. Are we going to initiate the bigger pullback, or are we going to straight push into the highs? Of course, there were a lot of news coming out, right? We had one bearish day, then the next one goes bullish, then the next one again looks bearish. So I found myself really shifting the bias every single day. And what you actually see is that we did not have much of a movement this week. And in fact, right now we are having an inside bar, which is great. So what we can expect for next week is that we're going to have a breakout, either through the high or through the low. Or of course, a lot of times we can take out the high and head lower, or better, take out the low and then head higher. This is what I would love to happen, because overall I am bullish on the Dixie. Fundamentals are supporting bullishness. But again, the biggest question is, are we going to have a deeper pullback, potentially to fulfill this overall weekly range, right? So dropping onto the day, you can see that we opened right there on the 21st of March. And again, I was overall bullish on this one, because again, we were bullish on the daily. We had this pullback. The market tried to push higher, but failed to make a new higher high, right? Then we pushed lower, but we also failed to break below this low. And then as you can see, since the 21st, like the first one was an inside bar again, the second one wick. So just made a little bit of way up, but not much of a development, which again really makes it tricky for me right now to determine, cool, well, from exactly this price point, are we going to push up or are we going down, right? So definitely also the DXY and EU also need some time, because again, if we are realistic and if we really ask ourselves, okay, what is happening right now? Well, we have resistance and we have support. So what is this? Well, it's a range, right? And where is the market right now? Well, it's pretty much overall in the middle of this range. And as you can see, if I just drop an overall line like in the middle of the range, you can see how we get like interactions here, break, retest, boom, boom, boom. You can see how it actually consolidates in the equilibrium of the range. So of course, if we try to look a little bit deeper into it, I was looking for this zone to be retested, and this one actually got retested. But of course, the highest probability zone for me will be this one. So this is still valid for me. I also have my alert still waiting for me right there. But as of right now, I find it tricky to really determine what I want to do. Right now, the flow is bullish, okay? Why? Because we pulled back, we failed to break below the low, pushed potential lower high. We should have broken to the downside, but no, we pulled back. created a higher low, and then we pushed into the highs, right? So this for me is a breakout structure. Then what the market does, it starts respecting demand. You can see push, pullback, respected, and it tries to push to make up a new higher high. But guess what? It did not make a new higher high. There was one of the days that I was expecting a higher high and a deeper tap into this level. But no, the market just like tried to push, failed, and then it reversed. And then, okay, so are we bearish right now after a failure to make a new higher high? So as you can see, we are currently stuck in a bigger kind of daily range. And also what you can see right now is happening is the 4 hourly is also building a range, failing to break the highs and failing to break the lows, right? So the idea on the DXY is to right now see some momentum, right? Not every day, not every week is going to be perfectly tradable. So what we have to do is just wait for something clear, and more importantly for our opportunities and for our setups to present. Again, as I said, I'm currently seeing the bullish flow. We're having breaks of structure to the upside. Demand is being respected. So if we have, let's say, a break right there, retest, then potentially I'm going to continue trading it higher. But at the beginning of the week, I'm going to give it some time, because even if I drop to a lower time frame, yes, it definitely does look bullish. See the momentum to the upside. And if we have some sort of a pullback, let's say on Monday, then that could give us a nice long opportunity. But of course, it really depends on how it opens. Okay, so hopefully guys, this analysis makes sense. I'm not having a very specific bias or direction. As I told you, I was changing my bias every single day the last week. Hopefully this one is going to be different with some momentum being introduced. So DXY overall bullishness. Let's see how EU supports this one. All right, let's have a look at EU. So once again, on the weekly time frame, we are overall bearish. Like we had the last, 4 weeks of massive bearishness, even 5. Then we had a little bit of a pullback right there for 1 week, which could have created the lower high that we need in order for the market to continue right now down and continue breaking the levels to the lows, right? The first target will be 108 right there. And then of course, if this one breaks, then of course we can target all the way down to 106, right? So this is a bit of a long-term perspective. But what we have also this week is an inside bar. And as you can see, the movement this week, like this pair moved just 100 pips, and this is a little bit too little, right? We had some beautiful weeks right there. Even the pullback is much bigger, and right now we have this little inside bar right there, which we can take something like this. And again, if we are bullish on the Dixie, then of course EU goes bearish. But as you can see, once again, 21st of March, a little bit of a bearish day, inside bar. Then again, we had an overall kind of push to the downside, rejection. It looks a little bit bullish. Next day opens, another inside bar, right? Still stuck in the range. The next day opens, another inside bar, still stuck in the range. And oh man, I'm just spotting this one, but this guy has been stuck in this inside bar for 4 days, right? So we're having an inside bar inception, right? Inside bar on the weekly, daily, and probably even 4 hourly, right? So as you can see, this one is really building up for something. It was really hard to trade this one right there. There were of course some intraday moves, but yeah, in terms of daily, I cannot really spot much. We had this push, we had this pullback. Again, depending on how we drop our range, if we take really the big weekly range, well, we didn't pretty much tap into 50%. But if we take the last kind of pullback before the move, well, we did tap it, right? And also what we did is we did a liquidity grab right there above this previous weekly high. And right now we're trying to push to the downside. But as you can see, something needs to happen in order to have a push. And there, of course, is our daily consolidation within a weekly consolidation, right? So if you remember, I was looking at this wick right there for the last resort for demand. We tapped inside, we gave a beautiful reaction. But then what happens is the market actually fails to break above this zone, right? So I was like, okay, cool, well, we're short. Nice, gave the shorts. But then if we're short, then we should break the low. Nope, the low held right there. Pullback, okay, this could be a lower high. Then we're headed towards breaking the lows. Nope, the market just pulled back. Actually, these 3 wicks are higher lows, right? And then we push into the highs. And right now we're pulling back. So again, let's acknowledge that this is just a range, right? It might be a little bit wrong to say, okay, cool, well, right now this is a break of structure, so we're bullish. But we're not bullish because we're overall bearish on the hard time frames, right? And right now we're just entering into this little range. So again, what my suggestion is for us to wait for something clear, right? To wait for momentum being introduced, for a clear exit outside of this range with a clear move. So then what we can just do is just continue following the trend. Then it gets easy, right? Trading within the range is most of the times risky, and it's gonna cost you some losses, right? Because it's just ranging and it's not breaking the lows and the highs. So you also have to be careful with taking profits, right? So again, nothing too much to mention on this one as well. This demand failed to break, this supply failed to break, so we're having an overall range. So what I'm looking for right now is probably fundamentally, I would love to see this one go down and the DXY go up. So I'm gonna say that I'm bearish on euro, but so far we don't have much of a trading opportunity. So let's see how Monday is gonna open. And pretty much my week this week was very strange. I think, yeah, on the 24th of March, I was trying to trade London, but it was way too messy right there. So then I didn't trade at all. I had a couple of misses right there. Yep. So for this whole leg, I'm pretty sad that I missed this whole leg. Because at first I was looking to trade from this wick, but the market did not pull back right there. It provided tons of setups right there, but I got fixated on this level, so it didn't tap. Then we had a push lower. I was looking to take from this level, but no, the market just pulled back, flushed lower. Then guess what? I was looking to trade from this level. The market just pulled back and flushed lower. So I learned a lot of great lessons this week to actually learn how to adapt to the market. And then of course what happens is the market went to retest this level that I wanted to short, created this massive push to the downside. Then of course looking for shorts, but the market consolidated low day. And pretty much the only day that I traded was Friday, and I caught just this move to the downside. Asian range was pretty trending. We had a little bit of a liquidity grab right there. We shifted the structure down. So I started trading within these ranges, and I started with a loss. Let me check out where it was. Yeah. So this is the time right there. We gave a little bit of a pullback right here. Then we started shifting the structure. So after I saw that the market is building the bearish flow by these breaks of structures, my first entry was taken from somewhere right there. I don't have it prepared. I might actually share my entry for stats so you can see. And yeah, this one responded, pushed up again, responded again, and then it hit stop loss. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's see if we can get it from a higher level right there. But then I spotted that the market actually failed to break the high. And then we had just a massive push to the downside. I was like, okay, maybe I was just a bit too early. And then I just took another trade from right there. I think stop loss was right there. And at the bottom, I got a 4R exactly at the bottom. So maybe my stop loss was a bit smaller, something like this. So this is pretty much a loss and then a win. So this was minus 1R. This is 4R. So I won around 3R, and I was also risked less because this was a counter trend trade because I was bullish on that day, right? We had this massive bullishness, and then the market actually tried to push up, but then again, it started consolidating and went down. But I also did not trade during New York. So those are the only two trades that I took this week. Pretty tough week, but yeah. So again, back to the higher time frames. Let's see how this one is gonna play out. Looking for some sort of exits outside of those ranges, and stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram. Well, about the JPYs, there is nothing too much to mention. We are having a third massive bullish week, and this time on EJ we actually attacked the highs and we took out the high right there on the weekly. So right now what we can start potentially expecting is a pullback because yeah, we're having some massive moves right there. We are creating a new higher high, and usually after a big pump, you know that we usually follow with a pullback. Liquidity has been taken above this high. We're tapping into some sort of a zone right there. Of course, the next target if this pair is bullish will be this high, right? But yeah, so as you can see, the last week right there opened with no wick to the downside, just straight push, and this week just opened with a minor wick and straight push up, right? So when a pair like this, especially JPY, starts to trend, it is the best for kind of breakout trading or just momentum trading, just setting, for example, buy stops above the daily highs or the 4-hourly structure. Because again, you can see on the day, like again, we opened right there on the 21st, we just consolidate for one day. Tuesday just opens, no wick to the downside, massive run, right? On Wednesday, you could have gotten a higher low, beautiful, then we continue higher. Friday, a little bit of a retracement, right? So the only opportunity that according to me you could have gotten if you're trading like a market structure, it's this one, right? The market pushed, pulled back. I am pretty sure that this is a 50% pullback. There it is. And then you have a new higher high. Simple. So this is the only opportunity that I see on this one. And again, so most importantly, how are we gonna approach it, this one? Well, there is our last breakout structure. According to me, well, this is the overall demand zone right there. This is the overall higher low. So as long as we remain above this one, we are bullish. So again, as I tell you every single week, keep following the trend until you're wrong. So if we have a little bit of a push to the downside right there around 133, drop to a lower time frame, wait for the shift, and then attack a new higher high. Right, so this one will be the first target. Of course, the other scenario will be a straight break of the high, right? And then of course what we simply do again is just keep following the structure, right? So after the break, then this one right there is going to become the higher low. So we would like to buy from there and keep going higher until a higher low is broken, right? Again, we're tapping into this sort of big supply right there. We can of course go and have a look right there on the 4-hourly. It's a big consolidation, massive manipulation, then an expansion to the downside. So this level looks pretty strong, but don't try to catch the top. Wait for the top to form, break structure to the downside. Let's see, we're bullish. Wait for the last lower high, higher low, sorry, to get taken. Wait for a new lower high, take it from there, and then nothing can stop you to take shorts, right? But so far we are bullish. Hopefully the market is going to provide us with a pullback at the beginning of the week to catch a long. If not, if we start with a pump higher, then keep following the trend until you're wrong, right? So that's EJ, plain simple. Let's have a look at the Aussies. So an overall, again, bullish week right here. The sentiment on the Aussies has perfectly shifted to the upside. And again, I was telling you about this weekly zone right there. We're just getting deeper into it, but I just think we're just gonna smash it, right? Because there is no reaction. We're getting in very bullishly. So yes, of course, the next candle could be bearish, could be a pullback based on this little supply, but I would much prefer, and I think that we're gonna take out the high first and then potentially initiate a pullback, because again, the Aussie is bullish, right? So taking shorts like this doesn't make much of a sense, but we can see that the momentum is starting to slow down, like the past 2 days, like after a massive expansion here, we slowed down, and on Fridays also slowed down. So it looks like it wants to kind of round up and initiate a pullback. Well, that would be great, right? So then on the daily, this level makes sense because this is kind of a rally-based rally. As supply and demand, this is also the level that broke structure to the upside, and it looks pretty good. I wouldn't really look for a deeper level like this because this is way too deep, right? This is way too deep. It's going to take a lot of pips and time to pull back right there. And if the market is in momentum, you know right now that it just keeps going with momentum. In fact, actually, surprisingly, this, if you remember Monday, I was actually telling you about this level right there, but I was like, yeah, it looks a little bit too high on the range, but this is the last higher low. So if you're trading AU, then just long it. And I think somebody actually mentioned in the comments that he got a 1 to 10 just by longing from this level right there. So yeah, this one worked amazingly, right? We pulled back 21st of March, 22nd of March, it was still there, providing you with entries, massive expansion, pullback, another break of structure. So I do think actually AU provided a couple of long setups. There was one somewhere in the 15-minute, I think. Yeah, you can see that we have this overall pullback, push, pullback right there, higher low formation, beautiful move into the highs. So hopefully some of you capitalized on some longs on AU. And again, as of right now, what is this wick right there? Okay, we are perfectly bullish once again, and as I said, we're having this overall daily range that we can pull back towards. Currently the 4-hourly is perfectly bullish, and the last 4-hourly higher low is yeah, this one definitely, because this one broke structure. But again, as I told you, it's starting to slow down. So I would expect this high to get taken. So I'm not sure if it's gonna just start with a massive move higher to take out the high. If it does this, then potentially this can suggest we can have a bearish wick, right? Creating the weekly high, taking out liquidity, and then initiating to go to the downside. But if we start with a bearish pullback, then definitely this can be a long signal. Okay, so if we have a pullback here, drop to a lower time frame, wait for your entry criteria, however you trade, right? This is of course the most important part. First identifying the trend, identifying your zones, and then knowing how to enter. The entries according to me are the hardest for me personally, because I tend to miss out on a lot of trades. And then of course, if this one fails, you can catch a shorter term short into the daily zone, and then from there again, shifting the bias and looking for a long, right? So this is my outlook. Overall, expecting this high to get taken, but there is the possibility of us initiating a deeper pullback towards the daily zone. But there is also the possibility for just to react, retest 4-hourly zone, just as we did last week, and just continue to pump into the highs. So this is how I look at AU. And AJ, what can I say? Well, nothing. It's, wow, look at that, bro. This looks like Bitcoin right there, or some very inflated asset right there, is just on a big pump, right? Well, yeah, in fact, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bullish weeks. How does the monthly time frame look on this one? Woof. Well, yeah, nothing too much to mention on this one. If you are in, you are in, and if you want to get in, I think it's a bit too late, because this one is just moving higher, no pullbacks, right? Where did we open? 21st, we just created a minor pullback, continuation, minor pullback, continuation, minor pullback, continuation. So again, just keep following the 4 hourly structure, right? This is the last 4 hourly higher low. We already created a pullback, so this can already start pumping higher, right? But if you have a pullback right there, then drop the lower time frame again and wait for your setups. But again, according to me, these ones are right now beautiful for breakout traders. I'm not sure if there are some of you right there. And what this simply means is, if you get a pullback, then you just set the buy stop above the high, then stop loss goes below the higher low, right? And then you just keep riding it to the upside and trailing your stop. Of course, this one is a 70 pip stop loss, which I haven't never used in my career. This is why I utilize the lower time frames, but this is an approach that you can implement, right? So yeah, those are the Aussies. Both of them are perfectly bullish, especially AJ. I definitely need some sort of a pullback. When is it gonna happen? I don't know. So in the meantime, just keep longing until, as I said, until you're wrong, right? So if we actually react, fail to break, if we break the higher low, then of course we can have multiple shorting opportunities, because this one is going to fill all of this empty space right there, right? So those are the Aussies, perfectly bullish. The NZDs are probably pretty much the same. We're overall having a bullish sentiment on NZD/USD, an overall bullish week as well. We started with a nice pullback on this one, and then we continued trading higher. And right now we are potentially tapping into some sort of a supply. Why do I drop this supply? Well, because this is the last candle before really the momentum kicked in and before we actually broke structure. Of course, you can drop it like this. It's not a big problem, but for me, this one could be a very specific level that is possibly on the daily as well. Like, this is the last clear daily lower high before pumping into the lows. So we can expect some sort of a reaction right there. Very similarly to the Aussie dollar, we're having this kind of intermediate rally-based rally paired with a break of structure, which makes it also very important. Dropping onto the 4 hourly time frame, like the past few days, we have been consolidating at the top right there, which is great because it's building liquidity both at the highs, both at the lows. So I would love to see this setup on this one, a pullback into this daily zone, which is also 4 hourly zone. See the momentum that exited right there. We also, first of all, caused a little liquidity gap, which even makes it stronger. You can just drop a 4 hourly zone like this. And yeah, then from there, long it deeper into this supply and targeting the highs. The next, of course, the next scenario will be to start with a massive pump into the highs. Well, not massive, but just a strong break right there of structure. And then what I'm going to do is just adapt to it, get a pullback, higher low formation, and then of course try to take it higher. And if we actually break below, if we turn bearish, then of course we know we can take some shorts targeting the daily right there of 0.69, right? So this is my overall outlook on the NZDs. It's starting to range a little bit. So again, depends on how the week opens. If we open bearishly, then this one is going to be great because first a weekly wick is going to get created to create a higher low, maybe 1 or 2 bearish days. And then of course we can continue targeting the highs. But again, the situation will change if we open bullish, then we have to wait for pullback and continuation higher. So this is NU, and probably NJ is just rampaging to the upside. Yep, this one also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. I think AJ had 9, but yeah, break of structure, massive impulse. It doesn't make too much sense to look on the left from 2015, right? What matters right now is how can we adapt. Well, we're having a big bubble right there, so nothing too much to do. Very minor pullbacks along the way. Right now it's starting to slow down. As you can see, if we drop our last break of structure that is here, this makes our last demand. This one, it was already retested, so it's already kind of trying to push higher. Well, I would suggest that, like, if you didn't catch this one, like somewhere right there from the bottom, right, or right there until the structure was clean, right now it's a bit too hard to catch because, as I told you, it's just impulsing, right? Of course, if you drop to a lower time frame, I do believe it always provides pullback, so I think you can always catch it, right? But right now we are trading at a very high price, right? It's very extended, so we can start expecting a weekly pullback, Okay, even the monthly, because the monthly is probably, yeah, massive engulfing candle, potentially traveling towards levels like this right there. Of course, we have a lot of time, but probably next month is gonna open a little bit bearish and then potentially continue higher with the overall trend, right? But currently the flow is bullish. This is the last hour low. As long as we are above it, I keep longing. So if we have a little bit of a pullback right there, keep looking for longs. But if you of course break below strongly, then of course we can start looking for shorts. And where do we target? Well, this one is very difficult to say because we're having this massive overall push, right? And if then a new high is created, then we can drop a weekly range like this and target an overall 50% of it. Okay, so those are the NZDs, overall bullish. NZD USD actually looks a little bit better if we can have a little bit of a pullback to the downside. Well, this one is just impulsing higher, so I leave this one to you and how you can capitalize on these bullish markets. Well, nothing much to say about the UJ as well. Another weekly open, no pullback to the downside, and just a straight move higher. Of course, we can explore whether on the 4-hourly time frame we got any opportunities. There was an opportunity right there on the 17th of March. And this week, again, we just opened on the 21st of March, overall choppiness. And then on the 22nd, we just exploded. A little bit of a pullback right there, exploded again, pullback. So this one has already retested kind of the overall last range, which is right here. Retested and trying already to make a new high. So let's see if it's actually going to make it on market open. But if we pull back a little bit deeper right now, maybe 121, tap inside deeper to this level, take this one as liquidity, then potentially we can look for long. So this is the setup on UJ, guys. Nothing too much to say. Just keep following the 4-hourly structure until you're wrong. Again, push, pull back right now. It's already moving higher, so you might have already missed the train. And of course, you can just look right now for a deeper pullback anywhere inside these zones right there. Personally, I would prefer to take out this low right there. It's possibly, is it a daily low? Yeah, it's a daily low. So if we take out this one, it's gonna serve as liquidity in order to fuel a move higher. So this one will be my perfect setup on UJ. And of course, if we continue to push into the highs, then keep adapting and keep following the flow. That's UJ, nothing much more to say. Let's have a look at the GBPs. So starting with GU, we can see that we had an overall pullback this week nicely into the highs, and then we closed all the way down where we opened, closing as an indecision candle. Again, if we just drop the weekly range, we still have some space towards pulling back towards the 50%. Not to say if we're actually about to pull back deeper into these sort of supply levels right there that actually caused the break of the weekly, right? So this is first thing on the weekly. Then dropping on the daily, we can see that the market kind of retested this overall range right there, just tapped inside. Maybe some of you are also trading this kind of empty spaces imbalances, right? Reacted from it right here, but you can see it's just a reaction. It hasn't really fully reversed yet. We had this massive run into the highs on the 22nd, 23rd, took out the high right there, tapped inside, gave us a bearish day. And then for 2 days, we overall kind of ranged inside the zone. So this again makes me think, okay, do we have some more space to the upside? Well, we could have, right? This depends right now whether we hold from this 4-hourly structure, because again, we kind of accumulated, we shifted the 4-hourly time frame right there at the bottom, and since then we have been bullish, creating higher lows and higher highs. We created this high right here, then we pulled back. But again, if we ask ourselves, okay, what caused this high? Well, it's this demand right there. There is our breakout structure. This was our range as well. So we pulled back. We reacted at first, went in deeper, reacted, and right now we're just chopping around right there. So as you can see, we're having an overall consolidation right now. So 2 things can happen. Yeah, actually 3. Well, a lot of things can happen. Anything can happen, right? But let me try to give you a couple of scenarios. My most favorite scenario will be a break of these lows, a deeper tap inside this demand level, and of course, a massive bullish week. This will be also taking out the daily lows right there, retesting deeper into this demand that hasn't been tapped yet. And it's a very nice level on the hourly, right? The sell and then a very huge buy, which is great. And then of course, all of this consolidation right there is liquidity for the market to take it out and then fuel a move into the highs. Okay. The next scenario, of course, will be to open bullishly straight from here and start pumping high and into the highs. Then of course, what we have to do is adapt to it and keep following the longs. And then of course, the targets will be first targets into the 50%. Like levels like this could serve as nice targets, right? But then of course, if these levels fail, then all of these flat highs will be taken out, and then of course we can start heading higher for the weekly zone, which is right there, right? So this will mean that GU will definitely be a lot of bullishness, right? And then of course the third scenario will be just a break of this low, right? Just opening, smashing below, and then this means that we just have to adapt and turn bearish, right? So there is my all of my scenarios right there dropped with a line, right? And my most favorite will be the bullish one with a bearish open on Monday or Tuesday, and then potentially a continuation higher, right? So that is GU, keeping it as simple as possible, not really going into any great details. And of course, GJ, we know the JPY is just massively imposing into the highs, probably not providing a lot of opportunities. There was a little pullback action on the 21st of March. Did it retest 50%? Nope. It just actually tapped this candle where the momentum really kicked in right there. And massive impulse pullback, another break of structure. So right now, as you can see, we're already retesting the higher low and already reacting. My voice is running out. And so what we can do right now is we can wait for a pullback towards these zones right there, and sorry, and looking for continuations. All right, had to take care of my voice. And yeah, so pretty much this is GJ. So, and GU looks a little bit better because it's more like in a flowing passion. It's not really like massively pumping into the highs, but GJ is just massively rampaging up due to the weak JPY. Okay, so if this one, similarly to UJ and to the other JPYs, if you're having a little bit of a pullback to the downside, then definitely look to trade it, definitely look to jump on the train, and then of course start getting a new higher high and keep longing until you're wrong, right? Until a higher low gets taken out, keep longing, okay? And then of course Euro GBP looks like it's a little bit bearish than bullish. We had a very nice reaction from this supply right there, and currently creating a slight bit of a pullback, which means that EU is going to be weaker than GU. So shorting EU and probably longing GU is going to be better, right? So well, yeah, this one will be my analysis. A break of structure right there. Nice impulse into the lows, pulling back. It might have already actually created a pullback, so I would expect bearishness on Euro GBP, which means a weak euro and a stronger pound, which is what we actually want to see, a push into the highs on GU. And also we saw that on EU we are overall bearish, but we're still in a consolidation. Okay, so those are the GBPs, guys, keeping it simple. And of course, stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram, where we're going to adapt to what happened on Monday and see how we can strike for the remaining of the week. An overall bullish week on gold, and in fact an inside bar. So can we expect next week to jump in with some momentum? Well, definitely possible, right? But as you can see right now, we have retested this sort of weekly / daily zone, right? Tapped inside, reacted, and right now we're just ranging right there. So like you can see, there were quite some time of ranging right there. Right now we're having a little bit of a bullish sentiment right there for 2 days, causing the full hourly to shift bullish, which is great. So again, we can see that this was a lower low, so we shifted structure right there. Then we pull back, created a new higher low formation, possibly from this little demand, right? We took out the low right there to fuel a move into the highs. Then we caused the break of structure right here. And we can see that already the market has retested this most recent zone, right? And already trying to make a move higher. Of course, a deeper retest could be somewhere right there. After tapping inside this one, these levels are retested. So this one is more like a daily move, I would say, more like a daily zone to retest. So again, on gold, if you pull back right there, you can look for longs on the lower time frames. And if this one fails, you can look for longs from right there. Again, first of all, waiting for a shift on a lower time frame, right? And we'll go, of course, it depends on the fundamentals, what is going to happen in the world, how the money is going to get positions. You're probably seeing that the stock market is climbing right now, reaching some higher levels right now, which means that a lot of money is being poured into the stock market, and maybe it's going to start exiting gold a little bit. So this is a little bit of a speculation that we can have, but on gold, this is my outlook, overall bullish. Green weeks for the indices, for the stock market, and also for the crypto market. If you have any portfolios in both of those markets, they are probably looking green if you are buying correctly, of course. And we have an overall bullish week on US 30, but it's only this index still hasn't broken above this weekly supply, right? but I do expect to actually for it to break. We can see that it's overall building bullish structure, but this week on this index we did not move much, right? You can see that we just had a consolidation. So probably next week we can maybe have a little bit of a protraction to the downside and then continue trading into the highs. But yeah, if we break this level, then of course this would mean a commitment to the upside. And then again, the biggest question is the stock market going to head higher for new all-time highs, right? It always does, we just don't know when. We can see that on Nasdaq we actually broke above this structure, which is great, right? This confirms that potentially we can start seeing some higher prices, but of course it also means that we can first of all initiate a bigger pullback, right? All of these zones right now retested, and the overall zone that I will be looking to buy is this whole area right there from 1380 all the way down to 1300s, right? Or 13,000s, yeah. So after breaking this one, yes, as I said, we can expect a pullback and a continuation higher, but of course it can just continue to massively move from here. So this is my overall swing trade outlook on Nasdaq, because I don't trade those pairs. And also S&P, my favorite one, is also committing to the upside, breaking above structure and already kind of starting to make a new higher high. You can see beautiful also the 4-hour time frame creating a higher high, pullback, higher low, continuing into the highs. And of course, after such a break, we can start expecting the market to pull us back, which will be towards this big range right there. This will be the next buying area, because right now, as we turn bullish, we can say that the market is starting to turn bullish. So right now it's all the matter of catching the pullbacks and dollar cost averaging into the pullbacks, so we can actually get better prices, get a better average price on our investment, so we can actually make more profits, right? So this is S&P. I'm not buying it from here, right? Because currently it's pushing. I will be looking for a drop towards these zones and then potentially seeing it trade higher. Let's have a look at the crypto market. So it's slightly starting to look a bit more bullish. We can see that for 2 consecutive weeks, we're about to close bullish, which is great, right? My crypto portfolio is also looking amazing because I took in some buys somewhere inside these areas, and right now it's running nicely. 44K on Bitcoin, beautiful. Right, I think I bought it around somewhere around 38.8, somewhere right here, so it's looking great. But what I really need to see right now is this most recent supply, or this most recent range, actually break out of it, right? Yes, on the day we're having an overall bullish structure. We can see that we're starting to create the bullish flow right there, push, pullback, push. So let's see if we can have a daily pullback towards like 42 and then potentially impulse into the highs. But yeah, I'm not calling really a bullish market. I'm just following the structure. It's telling me that it's maintaining a bullish flow. We can see slowly but surely starting to climb, and as it's more mainstream right now, it's possibly not gonna have a big bubbles like this and some sort of huge impulses, but we might actually just enter into a nice trending market, or just like start moving like a normal currency, which is something that could be nice actually. Also Ethereum, we had some good news on Ethereum as well, and you can see that the last supply was reacted and broken, and right now we're also starting to break all the other supplies on the left, which is great. It's bullish. I bought it somewhere down there, so it's looking great. And yeah, just right now I really do want to make my mind that this one is entering a bullish market, which I'm still slightly skeptical about, because we're kind of still in this had this massive run, this kind of pullback, massive decline right there. It's starting to look like a bullishness, but of course it could be a bull trap, right? It can just be a little range, and then of course we can just massively impulse into the downside and cause everybody to lose their trades from if we took it from here. This is why I always invest money that you can afford to lose on crypto, right? But again, after we broke this high, I will be looking to if I was scaling in, I would look to scale in from right there, right? So 28.80, we will be a potential area to scale in, pullback, and then continuation higher. So big question, is the stock market and the crypto market going to increase, which means that probably gold might start to lag a little bit. I would suggest that you monitor bonds as well, because a lot of people might start putting money into bonds right now due to the rising interest rates that are going to develop in the upcoming year, right? So this is how I'm going to end up this analysis. I really hope you enjoyed it and you found it valuable. Let me know if you did by smashing the like button and leaving a comment. I always love hearing your comments. And yeah, if you're watching this during the weekend, have an amazing and relaxing one, and I wish you an amazing week ahead of you. It's the last of March, so make sure to make it your best and start preparing already for Q2. And see you on Tuesday in Telegram.